Hey now, we're going rogue and figuring out if anybody else wants to get a little bit more help with the No Name 500, get some more subscribers. I'm here, free help. Show me what you got. Who's out there in the world coming off of John Wilburn's broadcast? Give me some love here. See if we can help some of you dudes out get up to 500. Well, we'll just get cracking then. Man, here's the beauty about YouTube. Um, it'll help anybody, but you got to know how to help it help you. Um, it ain't magic, um, but you got to help YouTube understand who you are, where you are, and what you're doing, and how you're doing it. Any of you guys that want to get involved, let me get a link posted here for you guys. There it is. There it's not. But yeah, goal tonight, throwing caution to the wind and seeing if any of you guys want to talk to me about your channel specifically, and figure out what we can do to get you where you want to be. Because I can help you get there. All you got to do is give me a chance. I'm gonna take a swig of Pepsi Cola and see if I can figure out the link here. Here I am trying to find the. There we go. Copy to clipboard. There's a link for you if you want to get involved. Sorry for the slow start. Here's me hanging out in the shop. Again, hoping to help all you guys in the No Name 500 get where you want to be. Not only get into the No Name 500 itself, but get yourself beyond that. Guess what? Next year, if there is a next year, there's going to be more than 500 required. Let me help you get there. Damn, I got to put my glasses back on to see these comments. We got a few folks showing up. We got Bear Roses in there. Good evening. Mopar Man, good deal. Glad to have you. Don English. What do we got here? Just a spectator, says John English. Let's get you helped out, Don. Don't you want to grow your channel for Christ's sake? Back to zero. Bear Roses asking, what do you think of which is the last one you did? Isn't the last one you did the one with your fixing your glass with my decals? If so, I appreciate you using my decals. Big Black 402's in the house. Any of you guys want to come on board? Link I just posted. Again, just throwing caution to the wind. Had a couple of cups of coffee after our deal with John Wilburn and Dallas Brown. They had some technical difficulties during their gig. But again, goal here is just reaching out to you guys one-on-one, and trying to figure out what we can do to get your subscribers up, to get your channel built. Been there, done that, got a t-shirt and a tattoo. If you're interested in some help, let me know. Barrow says he's going to be taking notes. Man, I'll tell you the best notes from earlier tonight. It's YouTube. You're thinking videos. Before you think videos, you got to think text. Text is what's going to get you the views. The YouTube machine can't figure out what your stuff's about, what your channel's about, until you tell it what it's about. And that comes down to your channel description, your video description, and your video title as well. I'll be switching between glasses and no glasses all night long, I assure you. It's the kind of guy I am. And those of you guys that don't use welding masks, shame on you. It'll cost you later down the road, I promise. Ford casting numbers. If you're looking for Ford casting numbers, I got a deciphering Ford casting numbers article on my website. Just go to roadkillcustoms.com and search for Ford part number deciphering, and it'll get you there. Who wants to come on out here with me? Bear Rose, why don't you jump on, man? Links in the chat there. Let's figure out what we can figure out. We can talk a little bit about your channel. We can talk about somebody else's channel. Big Block 402, he's a hood. He's a wise man. He's going to protect those eyes. Bear Rose is miking up. Good man. He's a wise character. He used my decals to fix his glass. He'll be on here shortly, which is good stuff. Just want to reiterate, man, any of you no-name Nationals 500 guys that are hunting for subscribers, reach out to me. You can hit me at I think in the description. If not, it's rdkll.co/500help. Reach out, or you can also hit me at roadkillcustoms at gmail.com. If you're looking for help with your channel, I can help you. It's what I do. It ain't fun, but I do it good. Big Block 402. He is a cool cat for certain. We'll see if we get him to pop up. There he is. There he is.
Hey, Buzz, how's it going?
Oh, man, if I was doing any better, I'd be on a cruise in Alaska, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So what you got going on this evening?
Oh, not much.
Did you were you able to tune into the content creators dealio with John there earlier?
Yeah, I caught you right at the end there. That's what I was doing before. I was rewatching what I missed.
Oh, well, for Christ's sake, man, all the good stuff was at the beginning. Man, tell me, man, I kind of mentioned in the title, this is a one-on-one. Boom, there you are, hot seat. Man, tell me what's going on with your channel. I mean, what do you feel like you're doing right? What do you feel like you're doing wrong? What do you feel like you'd love some help with?
Well, right now I feel like I'm just kind of floating. I don't know what's going on. So
Floating as in not growing, just kind of hanging where you're at.
I just would I don't know. I'd like any kind of input you could give me on mine. Constructive criticism, anything.
I
Little
mean,
honesty.
did you catch any of the text talk during John Wilburn's deal?
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube is a video platform without a doubt. There's no arguing that. But before anyone sees your video, it's going to start with text. The description, your channel description, uh, telling YouTube what your channel is all about, and that funnels right down to every single video. Um, without a good, solid description, it doesn't have to be the Encyclopedia Britannica, but whatever it is you're doing, um, if you're putting decals on a quarter window to patch a crack, for example, on a particular vehicle, that description should clearly state when somebody goes by that particular video, it's I'm going to use UV protected vinyl decals to seal up, this particular window. So again, the goal, of course, is to get somebody that's looking to fix a window with vinyl decals to know that that's what that's what you're up to. And without doing that, it's as simple as YouTube doesn't have any idea what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? Um,
You got to think of it in terms of you're talking to a machine and not a person.
you are talking to a machine and not a person. And when you're thinking about talking to a machine, the person part comes in with what do you think that person is going to be typing into the search box? If you think, if you can visualize yourself typing that same phrase or set of keywords into the search box, odds are you'll actually show up in the search results. It's pretty. It really is pretty straightforward, honestly.
How do you put in like rat rods? We do a lot of rat rods.
I love rat rods.
How how do you put that into the description to where it's going to grab it?
Fuck rat rods.
Because they're yeah,
Use that term. Whatever keywords you believe somebody would type into uh, YouTube's search bar, use that in your title, use that in your description. You got 100 characters in the title. Generally speaking, about the first 2/3, that about 60 or 70 characters are going to show up. I'm sure you've seen when you go to YouTube's homepage, it'll show you the video title. It'll give you the first 60 or 70 characters, dot, dot, dot. Make sure you're in there. Get the term rat rod if that's the term. But rat rod, that in and of itself should be enough as long as it's used in your video title, as long as it's used in your video description. And you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to
yeah.
become a keyword spammer because the algorithm knows about that too. But if, in your description for a rat rod project, it's hi, my name is Joey B. Rat Rod Builder, comma. We're working with chassis from this or that, comma. We're going to be slapping a body from yada yada to construct a killer rat rod that's built on a budget and that kind of thing. So you've got, chassis, you've got body, you've got, hopefully the year, make, and model of what you're using is the donors kind of thing. But now you've got the term rat rod in there twice. If somebody goes to the YouTube search bar with the term rat rod, man, you got 2 points, bro.
That bangs it.
You got 2 points, and it's not actually points, but you've got two exact matches to the keyword rat rod, which is going to risk you of getting higher in the search results. And kind of like I hit on in the earlier live, with automotive stuff, whether it's a rat rod or anything else, if you're dealing with donor cars, what did the donor car? What are the donor cars? What provided the body? What provided the chassis? What is the engine specifically? What's it out of? Year, make, model. Every single time is every time you put a year, make, model. Again, automotive industry, year, make, model, full 4-digit year. The funny thing about the search algorithm, if you refer to it as a 69 Plymouth Roadrunner, for example, you always want to refer to it as a creator as 1969. When somebody searches, if they put in 1969 or just 69, the algorithm is, in fact, smart enough to figure it out. But you yourself, again, as the creator, you want to use the full 4-digit year, make, model, and if it makes sense, a submodel. Again, all you want to do is you want to get it to the point where you run the risk of getting as many search results as you possibly can.
And that won't fall into like like you was saying with the intake manifold, when you're actually working on an exhaust manifold, you got all these descriptions of, it's actually in there, but I'm looking, you got a transmission out of a 77 E350, but you're not showing anything but the transmission. That's enough, right, to kind of help. And it's all going in a 58 Ford Fairlane.
Anything that is actually and factually associated with whatever you're dealing with, if you're putting 727 in a Chevy, for example, unlike, but again, if it's a 727 transmission, for example, going into a freaking C10, if somebody's choosing to do that, so be it. All of the associated keywords are valid. 1965 Chevrolet, get Chevy in there too. C10, pickup, truck, transmission, 727, etc. All of those are viable. It's so many are putting these laundry lists in place, where they're working with a pickup truck, Chevy, and a 727 transmission, for example, and they put intake because it was in their previous 3 videos. If somebody pulls that up because of the keyword intake, and they don't see anything even remotely close to intake except the guy hitting his vape bar or something, man, you're killing the possibility of a like. You're killing the possibility of a subscribe. The guy's going to be pissed, and he's going to be out of there as fast as you can shake a stick. You know what I'm saying?
Totally 100%.
So rat rods, that's kind of your
that's
no
my
stranger.
forte.
You're no stranger. Right on. What's have you got a favorite build? What are you working on now? What's the shakes?
Well, like I said, my favorite one is that 51 Chevy that we pulled out of a spud field. The farmer was putting a center pivot in, and he had to have that out of there. And it was upside down with a steel post up through the roof. He just gave it to us.
Oh, right on.
And we built the chassis, stuck it on a 87 F350. Built the 4 links out of the leaf spring ends. I got all that most of that build on one of my videos there, and it's powered by a 460 Berkeley
Oh, right on.
with the C6.
Right
That
on.
was my favorite. Then we got a Volkswagen with a small block 350 in it, sitting on another
A Volkswagen what?
Bug
Beetle or a Beetle? Right on.
Beetle. Yeah, 74 last year's.
Is the power up front or in the back?
Oh, up front.
Oh, right on. Right on. I mean, a bunch of them have been done with, like the Eldorado and
Yeah.
Toronado front wheel drive setups in the rear.
Then we got a 55 Ford F500 that's sitting on a 77 Chevy Malibu. That's what all of its running gear is, with a 305 Chevy in it.
You know, I am so surprised how people frown upon the 305. I mean, granted,
It's the
it's
best
just a
daily.
305. But I'm telling you what, some of these hot rods and especially the rat rods, man, it comes down to a power weight ratio thing. A 305 it's not that far off from a 350, really. And when you strip some of these things down, I mean, it's just a couple of chassis rails, a little bit of suspension and some sheet metal on it. Man, a 305 will get these things boogieing on down the road. Again, it's kind of a power to rate ratio thing.
And they're cheap.
And they're
Nobody
cheap.
wants them.
Nobody wants them. Yeah, easy to build. Yeah, not like 350s and more complex, but yeah, dirt cheap. Come in a whole lot of donors. Yeah, a whole lot of fun. Again, especially when it comes down to the power and rate ratio thing.
And they had more horsepower than the 302 stock. Both of them stock.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm always a fan. Anything that's running and driving beats something up on blocks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
The
as far as
project in the garage that never gets finished.
so as far as your channel goes, man, what's going on with your channel? What kind of frustrations are you having? What kind of successes are you having? Where can I help you there?
I was just kind of looking for just, I don't know, constructive criticism, I guess.
Well, I mean,
Anything you could see on it, you could see where it needs improved, because I'm new, totally new.
There ain't nothing wrong with your videos, and you've got the personality to grow. Not that you're giving me any indication that you feel like you need to be somebody you're not. Joe Vicescript Garage, for example. You are extremely likable.
No, thank you.
And all of your videos come across extremely believable. So all of those things you've really truly got going in your favor. Kind of again, I'm not sure where you came in on the earlier live with John and Dallas, but with most of these channels, the biggest opportunity is not necessarily in the video. People will watch the craziest shit.
Yeah.
It's the matter of getting them to the point where they're able to find it and watch it. And that's where I'd kind of bang on you a little bit. With those descriptions. You've got quite a few thousand characters to work with. As hard as you're working on getting the job done in the video, and then as hard as you're working putting the video together with all the editing, put that same amount of effort into the title, put that same amount of effort into the description. The title, people are argue with me on this all the time. I've been down this argument a bazillion times. But if you ask me, the video title outweighs the video thumbnail. You can have a shitty thumbnail, still have a good title, and a title that's accentuating what's going on in the title. I'm not. Where's a couple of examples? Give me a second.
Do you think my titles are okay for that?
Tell you what, let's look at your titles right now.
I've been trying to get away from the repetitiveness of them.
Ain't nothing wrong with repetitiveness as long as they're good. Forgive me, I use the old school clacky keyboards, and I still finger type.
I like it.
After I've been doing this shit since the 90s, and I still finger type. All right. Let's see what you got. So, man, I'm just going to go top to bottom.
Sure.
And I'm going to go with what I can see in the. I'm on your page. I'm looking at your videos. The oddities of Ford casting numbers, and I'm going to hover over and see what the full title is. Make them. Man, that is pretty damn good use of the 100 characters. You got to be pushing the limit on that title. The only thing I do, the case that you're using is absolutely correct. The case that you're using is called title case, where you're essentially capitalizing every single word in the title with the exception of the transition words like of, that, them, etc. The only other thing you could do to improve that first title, for example, is I'd capitalize Ford casting numbers, because that's all caps, because that's the main thrust of what that particular video is. Again, generally speaking, I don't talk about any of the channels and whatnot that I help and assist and whatnot, because all of them are covered under NDAs. But you didn't hear it from me. But go ahead, hit Vice Grip Garage's video titles, and look exactly at what he does with them. It's title case across the board, just like you're doing there. Again, virtually every solid word is capitalized. All the transition words like of, the, that, etc. Are lowercased, again, because they want to be. You don't want to give them any emphasis. But the main subject of the title, in this case, Ford casting numbers, I'd all cap those. The rest of it, just leave alone. The only change I'd make to that first one is capitalize all Ford casting numbers.
Okay.
Let's see.
That's actually something I switched away from doing. So thanks.
It's there's a lot of arguments as far as what you do with the titles. The single biggest thing, and it seems to be a trend among the No Name National guys, is putting hashtags in the titles. And the only notable exception to that is quote unquote acceptable is the term No Name Nationals, simply because it's a trending hashtag that people are looking for currently. Everything else, put those hashtags in the description.
Yeah,
put them in the description, because you're going to get the absolute same amount of love as the algorithm's going to give you as if they were in the titles. but you look 15 times less spammy. You know what I'm saying? You start putting, there's some dudes out there that are putting only hashtags in the video title, and it's like, dude, I'm so far from clicking on that because it just, you know, yeah,
And
unbelievable.
the automotive world, I mean, you know it. You got to be honest in this world. We've been lied to too many times from, big production stuff. So yeah,
Without a
you
doubt.
you pop a little bit and you get murdered.
Here's one I love and adore. Roadkill Customs window repair kit for the 1958 Ford Fairlane budget build. Again, pretty much you're absolutely nailing it. Yeah, that is by and large a textbook quality YouTube uh, video title.
Format.
The only change I'd make to that is I'd get the Roadkill Customs out of the front because in the case of this video, it says Roadkill Customs window repair kit for the 1958 Ford Fairlane budget build. Again, you're killing it on keywords there. You got the full 4-year make or 4-year model year make model. It's a budget build. Budget build are big, big, big keywords. There's a whole lot of dudes out there that want to save money these days. I'd put Roadkill Customs at the end. I'd actually probably completely reverse the title. 1958 Ford Fairlane budget build gets window repair kit from Roadkill Customs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Actually, I almost did it that way.
You should have done it that way. but again, how many people are searching for Roadkill Customs? That's arguable. So stick that dude at the end of the tail. The likelihood of somebody searching for either Ford Fairlane and you qualifying it with the 1958 and or the Windows repair kit, and you can mix up the 1958 Ford Fairlane and the Windows repair kit. Whether either one of those could be first. It doesn't matter if it's window repair kit for the 1950 Ford or 1958 Ford Fairlane or 1950 Ford Fairlane window repair kit. Unimportant. They're both in the first half to roughly 2/3 of the title, which means on YouTube's main screen, you'll notice, when you're using the full 100 characters, only the first couple of thirds of the title shows up. So you got the main stuff there. I'm Roadkill Customs, but in the case of that title, I am the least important, and it should be at the end. You know what I mean? Self-serving.
To bring more into, yeah, I get it.
The other thing that's killer on that is you're using chapters.
Oh yeah.
That is big, big, big. Viewers really appreciate that. There's a lot of people that don't give one rat's ass about people's intros, people's outros, and all of the horseshit in between. Especially when you're nailing solid, searchable things like 1958 Ford Fairlane and window repair kit, although you and I both know in this case the window repair kit's a little bit of it's fun, but it is what it is. But doing that chapter jumping is that is the kind of thing in a description that will get somebody without that a subscription instead. You're making it easy for them.
Cool. Thanks.
And that's especially too, going back to the automotive stuff on YouTube. There's two camps. One camp is looking for entertainment. The other camp is looking for answers. Entertainment man, it is what it is. If you got something fun to share, a big crazy ass burnout or some stupid shit, go for it. Have fun. People love to watch it, you know. But the other camp is answers. And if you can answer any kind of uh, specific question, YouTube will show you love, especially if you're able to express that in the video title and further express that in the video description. Um, the other thing I'm loving about your channel is I'm going to go back to your actual channel page. I am seeing very few, if not no, hashtags in your titles. Hashtags and
Unless they apply, I don't want them on there.
hashtags and titles. Generally speaking, it's a turnoff. Two exceptions for someone in your shoes. One is the No Name Nationals because it is in fact a current trending hashtag, and it's growing wonderfully. Gotta love that. The other that you've used is shorts. And the only thing that I'd suggest to you in that respect is put your title first and put shorts at the tail end instead of
Oh, okay.
at the front. It just has to very simply be there. But it doesn't necessarily have to be your lead. With most of your titles that are shorts, though, um, the titles are well enough explained at the beginning to where you're not shooting yourself at the foot. Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
because on those, it's hard to get a description on
true,
shorts.
true. The
But
other
they
thing, the
still
other
grab.
say what?
Does YouTube still grab the description for a short?
Shorts, as I understand it, again, some of this stuff is they just don't put it out there quantitatively. With shorts, believe that YouTube actually does want hashtag shorts in the title.
Yeah.
But again, my suggestion would be put it at the end. A lot of people are putting um, 16:9 videos as shorts. They're tagged as shorts, but they're not getting picked up as shorts because they've got to be vertically oriented. A
Vertical.
short has got to be smartphone shot, vertically oriented. Otherwise, you're not going to get the short love. Shorts is YouTube's answer to TikTok and Instagram Reels and that kind of thing. Um, and if you're doing a regular old 16.9 and you're not doing this, all of yours are formatted correctly. But if you're doing it, with the phone horizontally, even if you tag it shorts, it's not going to get the love that a vertically oriented shorts video will get. Here's one you could, welding in motor mounts, part 3. Welding in motor mounts for what kind of motor and what the hell are you welding them into, for example? It's not that welding in motor mounts part 3 is horrible, but if you tell them what you're welding the motor mounts into and what kind of motor you're working with, you're twice. You got motor mounts, you got the motor, and you got the vehicle. 3 opportunities to get somebody to take a look at your junk.
Universal
I mean junk
460.
very endearingly, by the way. Let's see.
That's cool. I'm sponging this all in.
Right on. Yeah, I'm scrolling through a little bit more of your page. Yeah, by and large, you're doing great stuff. And again, you've got a fantastic personality. You've got you're not one of those guys that's trying. You're just being you, and it's clear, and that's a super big advantage for you. You've got a very pleasant speaking voice. Um, you're not offensive in any way, and you explain things clearly. Yeah, the move your hashtag shorts to the end of most of your shorts. Uh,
Okay.
Again, that's not so you fully get. That's not going to do you much as far as the search results go. But as people are scrolling through the normal YouTube feed, the shorts isn't going to be the first thing they see. The first thing they're going to see is actually what they're going to see in the
Yeah.
short. But if the shorts is at the end, you're still going to get shorts love, because YouTube, the algorithm is in fact showing love to shorts right now. Thank you, TikTok.
I've never even looked at TikTok.
Dude, it's garbage. I don't see the love. If you're into bizarro crazy, there's a 15-second max. um all of it feels like it's geared towards teenagers. Um, to me, I could be wrong. Say something a little bit different in the comments if you like, but I find absolutely no value in it. If you're looking to burn some time, it it might serve a purpose. But I created it when it first came out and it first became popular. I created an account and I never posted anything because I started watching it and I'm thinking to myself, there's just not an audience for even the shorts that I would produce. Little again, you got 15 seconds to work with, for Christ's sake, which ain't a lot.
How do you do anything in that much? I have a hard time with a minute.
Exactly. And that's what I couldn't visualize myself, is coming up with something that was viable that would actually help someone. And that's I'm not into entertainment. I am not I leave that up to Cedric, man. He's the entertainer. Me, I want to help people out. I want to help make their life better, make something easier, make something faster for them, show them a tip they've never seen before, that kind of stuff. And the way that YouTube is choosing to do it, where uh, they're spawning more from the title of the short than they are the short itself, and showing like shorts. Again, if you generally speaking, if you show off something remotely automotive, they're going to show you more of that. Um, you're better off, spending efforts on YouTube Shorts than you are TikTok. TikTok is,
And it falls in with what you were saying too. If you teach somebody, and especially if you can do it in kind of an entertaining way, an enjoyable way, it's a lasting video that will always come back and get you more.
the term
Like,
is evergreen, just
yeah,
like the plants, evergreen. It's good year round, and that's answer somebody's question, even if it's a simple question. How do I, whatever? Because somebody year round is going to want to know how to do that. And the wondrous thing of the automotive industry is people are diddle dicking around with cars, you know, year round. Car problems are not seasonal, my friend. Some of them are, of course, overheating and that kind of jive, snow tires or whatever. But yeah, it's how to and DIY stuff, and that's pardon the term, but that, man, how to and DIY is how I made my mini fortune. Not that it's that really that big of a fortune, but it was all geared around. Helping people solve their own freaking problems, because people, yeah, anytime you look at the analytics, Google Analytics and things of that nature, how to and DIY and things of that nature, any spin along those lines, those are the top searches of all time. Add automotive into that. Man, there's a lot of automotive idiots out there. Man, do your best to help them out. You know what I'm saying?
And it's endless content.
It is endless content, without a doubt. Without a doubt. No, you're in strong shape. The
Oh, thank
only
you.
the biggest suggestion I'd give you, we talked about moving shorts to the end of the shorts titles, and we talked about titles a little bit. Um, the biggest opportunity I think on your channel is to take some of your existing content and combine them into, you've got a lot of short pieces, and a lot of those short pieces are related to the same vehicle or the same project. And I think what you could do is take some of those shorts and combine them into a little bit longer,
Okay.
but start to finish, A to Z type of thing. I don't suggest that you do anything with the older videos. Leave them sit. If they warrant a title edit, so be it. If it's a short, move the shorts, the hashtag shorts to the end. But some of these that I'm seeing are, several months ago. As far as the world in general is concerned, those are forgotten about, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but I
No,
also
it's true.
but I mean, if you re-edit those things into a combination video, you can breathe new life into them, and come. You're at the point where, generally speaking, newer channels want to keep their videos to roughly, give or take, 3 minutes or so, and the reason for that is 3 minutes is not much to invest. Even if it's a shitty video, it's 3 minutes, for crying out loud. And people are willing to hold on to see if in the third minute you come up with something good. But the beauty is your duration, your watch duration is high on short videos. Your watch duration is high on shorts. Um, but again, keeping shorts out of the picture, if you're putting out, say 3 to 5 minute videos and people are watching those things for 2 to 4 minutes, your video view duration is way higher than some dude that's starting off putting out 15, 20, 30, 40 minute videos. But they're getting 5 to 7 to 9 minute view durations. View durations, as far as the algorithm, is big. The longer people watch, not in terms of time, but in terms of percentage of video, is magical. Just magical.
I really pay attention to that.
Yeah, your stuff looks fantastical, actually. I was just handed a bottle of water. Thank you very much. My beautiful bride. My beautiful bride of 32 years or 1 year? 31 years. It feels like 32 years.
Yeah, Sykeston is actually my anniversary.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty deep into your stuff. I'm 6'8" to a year ago. Again, man, by and large, your stuff looks pretty solid.
Okay, thank you.
Something that Chris from Talking Mopars, he brought something up on a live the other evening, and it was sharing your stuff elsewhere. And I'm not sure if you have any other presences elsewhere, whether it be Facebook.
My Facebook, I get crickets. I've got almost 1,000 on Facebook, and nothing. It doesn't come to YouTube.
We should chat about that, because
that,
I'm
I
the
don't know
absolute
why.
opposite. I'm I'm pushing 450,000 on Facebook followers, for example. Hey, you're gonna have here we are, first live. Gonna have to excuse me for one quick moment. Can you carry the
Sure,
candle? Can you carry the candle for one quick moment?
sure, sure.
Give me a quick moment.
Oh, so everybody, two hacks. Yeah, two hacks. That head series that you're doing, that is just freaking golden stuff, man. So has anybody else got any questions or anything? Or you just want to shoot some questions, junk, answers? Hey, two hacks. It's kind of strange being on this side like this. Oh, Buzz, he had to step out for just a sec. So how's everybody doing? Unfinished project. I finally got my one emoji from him. I know I made it now. Do you still have your monster truck? No, we had to sell it. What was it? 7 years ago now? When Dad got sick, he just couldn't get in it no more, and I just got remarried, so there was no way I could take that on.
Holy shit, my eyeballs were floating, man.
There
Shit,
you are.
shit, shit happens, you know.
I kept the fires going for you there.
You're a good man. You're a good man. I love the fact that you're into rat rods too and putting stuff together. That's some of these lives and whatnot that are going on. I do. I'm a the joy and the love that I find in automobiles is taking parts and putting them together. And the more disparate they are, man, the happier I am.
Yep.
Man, I'm one of I don't want to. I was just saying how I don't like chest pounders earlier in a earlier live, but
Go ahead.
man, I love it. It's the vision, man, the
Uh-huh.
vision. The being able to take that car that everybody else has said that thing's the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen. And I'm thinking to myself, man, that thing is a fucking jewel. You know, I can see past all the ugliness and the potential, and man, I'm there every time. It's the crappiest crud. My wife, she's again, she's the dearest that brought me more eyeball floater. Um, uh, she's like, "What are you bringing that home for?" I'm like, "You don't see the beauty in that? What the fuck? What is wrong with you? Look at this." And I'll hand gesture. You do this and you do that. Come on, man. You weld a couple of fresh here and a couple of fresh there, a couple of cuts here, a couple of cuts there. Man, you got something, man. You know? Yeah.
It's a Studebaker. You're never going to find parts for it. Sure I will if I put a Chevy in it.
Exactly. I love everything Studebaker. I see the first hot rod, the first car I actually built back in 1996. The first thing I did is Roadkill Customs. It was a 1978 Pontiac Grand Prix, and I did it up as kind of a Buick GNX clone of sorts, with a 305. With a 305 only because it was what I could afford at the time. It didn't matter because it fucking rocked. Thank you very much. Edelbrock carb on it, and it was it's a crate motor for Christ's sake. But the car I bought for I got that car for what I think $350. Brought it home, and my wife's looking at this piece of shit in the driveway, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Babe, man, give me a couple of weeks, man. Give me a couple of weeks, man. I'm gonna make this baby shine." Yeah, but my old man, he was always the kind of work with what you have kind of guy. I had a couple of nights on another live, people were talking about something, and names came around, and I came off with, yeah, for the longest time I thought my name was Damn It. You know, Saturday mornings, man, my old man be rolling around looking for his tools, saying, "Damn it, where's my this? Where's my that?" You know,
Go running out there.
yeah.
I was his tool rodeo. I'd jump over there, and I was always putting his tools away, wiping them up. You put them back in the same spot, in the same direction.
Dude,
Otherwise,
you got good skills from way back then, man. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can figure out pop the link one more time and see if we can get anybody else in here.
Tall Garage, boy, he is sitting on a gold mine with that where he cut that LS head and stuck it on a Ford.
Isn't that some heavy shit?
Just amazing.
Yeah, I just popped the link, ladies and gentlemen. And anyone wants to pop in here, there's Tall Garage. I don't know how long he's sitting there. There he is.
A little bit. Hey, fellas.
How long you been sitting there, for crying out loud?
I don't know. Since I got in the chest.
Minutes?
Since I got here.
Dude, you have got to. Did you change? I forgot to go take a look. Did you change up the illustration to the actual photograph of that flathead?
No, I haven't. I was gonna get around to it, but I was busy working on that. Okay.
I've got a screen cap. I'll email it to you in the morning. It's captured from your video, and it's not unlike. Did you check out the OG 400 teardown from Pole Barn Garages? Holy Goat 400.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah,
dude, I'm telling you what. When we switched out that thumbnail, thing rocketed. It's his currently it's his #1 video. In the next day or two, the compilation video of the full Holy Goat build will become his #1 video, and we're talking just under a couple of 100,000 views.
I'll have to change out the thumbnail then. Like, honestly, I thought it was pretty good because I got like 2,600. It's my most viewed video, right? So I was like, hey, I must have did pretty good, right?
The illustration is fantastic, but if you showed that oil pan shaped root ball, come on. I mean, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine.
It's like a sandcastle.
You get me the screen cap that you took, and I'll turn it into a thumbnail. And
I will. So. I'm making note right now. I'm a pencil guy. Look at this old school pencils, man.
My Ford 300 video took off. I got 1,000 views on it so far. It's doing pretty good.
Right on.
So I'm pretty happy with that. And I got like 80 subscribers off that video.
Hey, here's my
sweet.
I emailed you a review, right?
Yes, I read it, and I didn't respond to the email, but I seen you in a chat, and I told you I appreciated it, and you replied, but you probably didn't realize it was me. So, but you did. I read it. I made a couple of changes. I still need to do my channel description after hearing you go on about how important it is. So I got to do that.
Dude, it's key. It's key.
That's what I was asking you about, the rat rod thing and the hot rod thing, because that's basically all I got in my channel description.
dude. I mean, as far as keywords go, at the top of the list, hot rod, rat rod, custom car, and then all the makes and models. Those things are at the top. Everything that you do to those vehicles falls below that stuff. But yeah, you know those keywords are gold, and what helps differentiate you is what you're doing to them. And you know, like you're Barrows, the various makes and models. Again, that's what's going to help get you towards the top of the search results. So Tall Garage, thumbnail, email. That motor is freaking awesome, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope that it one day makes a lot of noise, because that'll be an even better video, I'm sure.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So say I don't. I've sent out probably a dozen channel reviews similar to what you received, Tall. Um, yeah, they're between 1,000, 1,500 words. I mean, did you feel like that was a relatively comprehensive overview of what you had going?
Yeah, no, yeah, it was exactly what I was looking for. I just wanted it blunt, short and sweet, blunt. What I was doing right, what I was doing wrong, where I can improve. You nailed it.
Well, any of you guys that are looking for that, you can hit RDKLL, short for roadkill, no vowels, .co/500 help. And I'll do the same thing for you. I think I put the link in the video. I can't remember. But if not, I'll total up there later. But yeah, I am willing to absolutely. I'm the busiest motherfucker on the planet. Next to very few. But I've got time slotted for no name national contenders specifically. And if I don't have enough time in the day, I will make time at night. I'm the non-sleepinest. And here comes Jeff from Two Hacks.
I don't sleep either.
Hey, Jeff.
Good man. Good man. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm like there's a bird over there. How long?
No, I'm the same way. No, just a couple minutes. I'm making a Chinesium valve spring art. It's going to be my multi-million-dollar idea.
Dude, fantastic, man. Hey, car part art for the longest time, man.
I know.
My shop when my son was learning how to weld and that kind of jive. I started him off on car show trophies because we had, man, some of the car shows we had at my shop were just the sickest. I mean, I'm talking, hundreds of vehicles.
Nice.
And my son, his name's Thomas. He was a fledgling welder. I'm like, hey, put this together, that together, and put this plaque on it and call it something cool. And shit, howdy, man. We got into the whole car part art thing relatively heavy. I mean, we were selling, $300, $400, $500 lamps and tailgate benches and all kinds of crazy shit.
See, I got a really cool Dodge late 70s tailgate. It's super clean. I'm going to do the same thing. Make a bench for outdoors.
What's your framework going to be? Are you going to go wood framework? Are you going to go metal framework? What do you got in mind?
Well, I used to do a lot of woodwork, so that's kind of the go-to. But I kind of want to brush up more on my welding skills, and I got connecting rods and shit like that. So I might just think of something cool.
Man, I love you said that. I love you said that woodwork. Man, but in and around the time I was learning about, when I was a kid, it was mini bikes and go-karts and that kind of jive. But when I got into high school, and just side note, I've made my entire living, my entire life by what I learned in my 4 years of high school, with a little bit of exception from what I learned from my old man. But wood shop. Man, How much wood shop skill stuff do you use in your automotive fabrication?
if you finishing out,
All of it.
paint finishes or wet sanding a car or correcting clear coat, doing primer. I mean, you name it. There's so much with that.
What about on the fabrication side? Miter joints and gusseting and that kind of.
Gusseting. Gusseting is huge. Like I did a lot of gusseting stuff because I restored on the side just for fun because it was really big, like mid-century modern furniture, right? And a lot of it was like popular, like Lane of Claim, and it was like solid wood to a veneer. Nobody wanted to touch it, So I would refinish that. So I got really good with like the wet sanding stuff. But like gusseting, oh yeah, some of that old stuff you'd have to gusset up. And now when you look at frames or other stuff, you're like, oh, that needs a gusset in there. And here's why.
Yep. Totally, 100, 200%.
Yep.
Like my dad said, there's nothing stronger than a triangle.
Yeah.
I
agree.
One of the talking about the woodwork and a carpenter thing. What a quote from one of Pole Barn Garage's videos was, "It's not how good of a carpenter you are; it's how good you can hide your mistakes."
In woodworking, you can do that a lot.
Well, I mean, metal too, man. Actually, metal's more. I came to believe that metal's a lot more forgiving than wood.
Yeah, because it's easier to add metal than it is to add wood.
Yep,
no doubt, sure. and make it look right.
I can bridge a gap.
You can't regrow a tree.
Welder. Exactly.
Well, you can't.
So this has given me some insight. I recently went to a swap meet over the weekend. I made a short video about it. It's scheduled to go live Wednesday, I think. And I've seen some of this, car part art, and I'm thinking I need to like change my thumbnail to at least they had like a gun, made out of car parts. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to like change my thumbnail because like the thumbnail I have is kind of lame now. The more I think about it.
Okay.
Well, you know what's really cool? The car art thing is really cool. And like right now, I have content I've made that is being scheduled to like next Saturday or something.
Yeah.
And
I think we're
we're screwed of like not being able to do a whole lot. Well, I bought a fender. Sorry. I bought a fender and an old cool tire wheel from the 60s or 70s, and I'm going to redo it and like, go through the steps of making like wall car art. So it's going to be like a fender from a 68 Dart, how to make it lit, put the wheel on the wall with it so it looks real, lace paint it, and, use it as a sticker board.
And why not?
That 50
I mean, if you got
48 Ford that I got, I'm turning it into an awning for my man door into the shop.
Yeah.
Taking the nose and chopping it and sticking it up there for the awning.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool as shit right there.
And the headlights, wire them in for, porch lights.
Yeah.
So, fellas, am I the only one that feels like thumbnails are really hit and miss? Maybe it's just a me thing. Like, usually my thumbnails are great or they're really bad. And I can't quite tell when I'm making it. I just kind of, slap it together.
Thumbnails. Let me tell you about thumbnails, brothers. Thumbnails. All right, here we go. Thumbnails are hit and miss. They absolutely are. The problem with thumbnails is they're subjective as all get out. And often those that are creating the thumbnails are so attached to what they think should be the thumbnail. Man, they're 180 off. These are my hot tips on thumbnails. Man, an up close image of whatever you're working on, up close, detailed image. And if it's an automobile, if you're working on something overall, make sure you get the full automobile in there. You guys are probably thinking to yourself, Jesus, this guy's a fucking genius. I know that one's not all that miraculous. The other thing, and this is really reaching out to clickability, but whenever appropriate, you surely, whatever your end result is, if you're repairing something, if you're fixing something, if you're painting something, if you're reshaping something, put a photo of the end result.
Yep.
If the end result is good, people are going to want to know how the hell you got there, and that's why they're going to want to click on it. And the title is, going to lead into that. I turned the crappiest piece of this into the most wonderful thing of that. Here's a photo. And of course the story is click to see how I got there. How can you do this yourself, kind of thing.
So I took your advice on that, Buzz, because like I just edited my final review of Speedmaster Heads, right?
Speedmaster Heads. That sounds cool, no matter what you got.
Well, they're trying. Well, I'll leave the suspense, but yeah. So like I read your email and I remembered that, and I was like, I can't use the stock photo because everyone knows that looks like. So I threw in the photo with the nice Scorpion roller rockers, the port polish job, and it's like Speedmaster head review. Are they worth it? But it's got this cool looking head, not the Speedmaster that they sell on, websites.
Right on.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I look forward to that one.
It's hard to take
Saturday
a step back, like on thumbnails, because like I did that illustration of that flathead with the tree growing out of it. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever done. I'm really proud of this. This is a great thumbnail because there's a
Dude, don't
goddamn
get me
tree
wrong.
growing in the oil panel. Like, this is great. And it's like, shit, I guess maybe it wasn't that great.
No, that illustration was phenomenal. It really was cool. And you cannot discount the killerness of that illustration. It's just not the best thumbnail for clickability.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I understand. Like I'm still learning. I suppose.
You get that thing running, you'll sell a shit ton of those T-shirts. However,
oh man,
that is a good point.
Here's another hot tip on thumbnails, gents. Whenever appropriate, and most often it is, get a face in there. People want to be able to relate to who's ever behind what's happening. And in perfect world, it's an expressive face, either surprise or dismay or exactly. There you go, Jeff. That's what I'm talking about.
So those do well, huh? Because like I must be biased because I see them thumbnails. I'm like, this is dumb.
I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet because I am biased, but I got to remember I have an audience. So like, I was thinking the same thing. Like Jed from Scott Speed Shop, he had his new thumbnail, and it's him looking like, oh yeah, look out this porno car, and it's like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah,
I just haven't done it yet.
Hey man, people think I'm singing songs and dancing dances on the faces in thumbnails, but with some of the clients I've worked on and some of the focus groups I've been through, people love that shit. It doesn't have to be the main focus, even if it's just that little, head in the corner going,
yeah,
or something. It's the human relation. You know what I mean? It's the human relation that gets people to click. Click science is the freakiest thing. It is. It's actually one of the most enjoyable things I've got to work with some of my corporate clients because they got the money to spend on these silly ass focus groups.
Yes, I know
and
what you're talking about.
I'm involved in the focus groups because I got to develop the interfaces that they interact with, and or come up with things not unlike thumbnails. And it's entertaining as hell. This live and a couple of other lives with John, we kind of talked about the title and using title case in the title, basically capitalizing every word except for word transition words like of, the, and that kind of thing. Those, generally speaking, should always be lowercase. But whatever's the most, if you're doing what's a good, sometimes my mind just goes blank.
How to write a title.
How to write a title. In how to write a title, I would capitalize the word write. for example. Whatever the biggest focus is, and whatever's getting capitalized in that title, that is the same text or very, very similar to it that should be highlighted as the text in the thumbnail. The other biggest mistake I see with thumbnails is people are making the fonts too freaking small, especially on mobile. When you're scrolling through the listing, you gotta be able. It's got to be high contrast, and it's got to be of decent size if you want somebody to act on it.
Yep.
If you make them work to read what's in the thumbnail, you're going to lose the click. And if it's not readable at all, you've lost
Right.
the click. And absolutely, again, make the highlights within the title and any text that's in the graphic of the thumbnail. Make those two symbiotic. Let's see. We talked about showing the end result. Again, if you're fixing, repairing, or painting something, show that in the thumbnail. End result, answers, results. And that in and of itself is the best thing you can do to get. If there was one secret to YouTube videos and views, it's answer someone's specific question.
Yep.
If you can do that in your video, that is the shit that goes viral, with the exception of crazy shit. Crazy shit, everybody loves crazy shit because it's crazy shit. Otherwise, if you're able to answer somebody's question how do I seat valves? If you're able to answer that question, which Jeff has in some of his videos, for example, you're golden. You're absolutely golden. And that's one of those things to be thinking about as you're going to create a video. You can either turn the camera on and just fart around in the garage and, it is what it is kind of thing, or Jeff has pretty much got it nailed. 2 hacks. He's pretty much got it. Jeff, you've got it going. You're a natural.
Well, part of that too is like I wasn't planning, and here's I think a bigger. I wasn't planning on doing that in depth, but Bear Rose was like, it's the how do I or is that question, and I never even thought about that. I was like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. I need to show this.
Yeah,
because one of our own guys in the group wants to know.
And with those kind of things, the other thing to consider before you're actually turning the camera on is think about what when you've got an idea, man, I got to get this on camera, be thinking about what would someone be typing into the search bar to find something not unlike this. And automatically that's your title, enhanced with capitalization and that kind of thing. I'm certain there are people out there that are listening to this going, what a jackass, man. This guy. And I'm telling you what, the value of proper capital, that's the other thing to keep in mind, especially in the automotive space, is the biggest amount of viewers is arguably, and it is an arguable point, but it's between 35 and 65, or even finer defined 45 to 65.
So that was something I was going to bring up.
If you start typing in shit like B4 with capital B and the number 4, you've lost them. You've lost them. If you're if you're all lowercase, you've lost them. They will not put up with that shit.
I look at my analytics.
I've watched, and again, some of the corporate clients I've worked with and been interacted with their focus groups, dude, they'll almost get up out of their chair and quit the fucking focus group they're getting paid $100 for because they're so disgusted with that shit.
You know what's funny is, like, when you say that, is like, I have to do a lot of business writing, and everybody probably in this chat, we probably grew up with proper writing, even learned cursive. And but I'm saying it's like, but like I'm not that old. I'm 43 almost. And when I get a text from somebody, usually younger, it's like B4 or where are you? And it's like, are you effing kidding me? So but here's the whole thing is like I look at my analytics and say my main audience is people my age and up. And you're exactly right. If I was to start writing like a lot younger people, and I always argue with a friend of mine who's much younger, and it's never content related. Oh, if you got this camera, or if you got this mic, or this editing software. It's like, wait a minute, you're missing the point. Your age group really cares about all that high tech stuff. The people I'm working with in this group, we don't give a shit. It's like, what is he doing?
That's the other thing I've found is people are willing
Exactly.
to watch the crappiest videos and love them. The crappiest video will get joy in terms of a like, and arguably in terms of a subscribe. But they got to get there first, and that's
Yeah.
where descriptions and proper text and capitalization and all that stuff comes into play. Because even if your thumbnail sucks, if you've failed on your title, if you failed on your description, nobody's ever going to see your crappy thumbnail.
Right.
So don't even worry about your thumbnail. Take care of the text first. And I've had that argument many times, and it's I win every time, just because the analytics prove it.
I win the argument with my younger friend all the time too, because he'll go on about whatever camera angle or whatever, and it's like, oh my god, it's like I'm talking to my son and at the same level of ageness, and they're much different age, and I'm like, what was I making the video on? Well, it was a cylinder head one. Well, I've got like 5,000. Which part was it? Like, what was it? Well, I think no, you don't think, you don't know, right? Like I go to my analytics and say, this age group right here, 45 to 60 or whatever it is, they know. They don't give a shit if I shot it on my phone, a Polaroid, or anything. You know what I'm saying? And
as long as you're delivering the answer, no matter how ugly it is, you can find love.
yes,
But yeah, don't feed them. And emojis also. Man, you start putting emojis and characters and crazy shit like that in. It is in the automotive industry, because it is largely an older age group. They're kind of like, yeah, they don't want to see that shit.
yeah, I know.
But there are exceptions too. Tall, you surprised me. You put the anime in, and that's a huge turnoff for me. I won't even touch that stuff. I won't even look at that stuff. But I looked at yours, so there's weird stuff with it too.
So okay, yeah, I want to bring that up because like I was doing that because originally kind of like stand out and like have a little bit more of my personality in, right? And Wilbur, he's how do I phrase this? Yeah, he just told me it was bad. So
that's
so I stopped doing it, and like part of me is like, I should have just kept doing that because like, it was kind of like the thing that I had to like make my channel slightly more my personality, memes and anime. That's what I like. And like I still throw in memes, like with the one thumbnail I did on me pressure washing the flathead was like 100% meme based. Like the title was from a meme, the image was from a meme, but yeah, I definitely toned it down. And you're right, because the anime turns off the older crowd like 110%. So, and that's who I'm making content for, is guys that are older and they like this kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I agree.
But it was strange. I clicked on you. Otherwise, all the other stuff, all the speed racer stuff and all that, I just let it go. I don't even look at it. But yours, for some reason, I clicked it. And I think it was because of your title.
Yeah.
but I almost didn't because of the anime.
No,
I'm not saying bad stuff about
No,
it.
I get it. I get it. Like I tried making the thumbnails always car related some way, you know, but like it just turned people off, and I understand 100%, man. I get you.
When I first saw I was going to do your the review on your site, and I'm scrolling down. I'm like, oh, but as far as that went, though, I mean, you got to admit those were really well executed. Love
Yeah.
it or hate it, they were really well
Very
executed.
good. Yeah.
And I think what you do, you just if that's your thing, man, figure out a way to make it work.
I've
There's
been
no
wanting to.
wrongs or rights. Again, it's are you answering a question or not, kind of thing. And if you can answer that question with the type of thing that you're into, and you get excited about it, and it makes you want to make a better thumbnail, man, there's no crime in that, brah. There is no crime in that.
Well, I know.
You got to keep your you got to keep your target audience in your eyes for certain, but
I
man,
know that my No Name National like announcement video, like I did like kind of a skit, and it was the first time I did it, and I was just having fun with it. I didn't care what people think, and then I got like Dallas commented on it, and like a bunch of people commented on it. They thought it was great, and I was like, well, that makes me feel pretty good.
yeah. I believe it was a Mr. Dale Earnhardt that stated it doesn't matter if the PR is good or bad. It's as long as they're talking,
Yeah.
as long as they're making noise. I
That's
mean,
true.
that doesn't always hold up. I mean, as far as clickability goes, but and that's the beautiful thing about the YouTube scene. You start off where you think you need to start off and what's of interest to you, and then you look at the analytics and you look at how people are responding to your stuff, and you shift, man. You adapt, overcome.
Yep.
And there ain't no crime in that. And who knows? Keep your eyes on. I think the best indicator in that respect is the comments that came from those videos. If you got positive comments on those videos or negative, weigh them out and figure out. Every once in a while, you may be able to. The most interesting thing occurred to me about those thumbnails was this may open this guy up to a far wider audience.
I think what I need to do is, it can't be in every video kind of thing. I have to kind of pick a video every once in a while and just go wild on it, and then keep most of the other ones tame. I think that's kind of what I've been feeling I need to do. But maybe I'm wrong.
Just
I don't
throw
know.
it out there every once in a while.
Yeah, just have like a passion project video every once in a while where I just go kind of stupid on it,
I have some
Ain't
ideas
nothing
on
wrong
that
with
too.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's what my last one is.
Yeah.
It's event. It's a bad day at our rallies.
Right.
See, I have a
That's
bad
what that
day.
video is.
I have a bad day video that took place on Friday, and I was feeling like shit. I was tired. I just knew it was gonna be a bad day, but and I made the video, and I'm going, wow, I made all these mistakes. All my math was off. I wasn't measuring shit right. Nothing was going right, and you realize we should have known this. But you know what? I kept the video for one reason. Because you need to show your mistakes. You need to show that you're going to have that bad day. I'm sure I'm going to get some shithead feedback on it, but it's like there ain't nobody out here that's perfect, And obviously, with this build I'm doing, it's like there's ups and downs. And I always use the lemons to lemonades, and I like sketch comedy, and there's going to be comedy on that. But it just shows the ups and downs with it, and just keep figuring it out.
There is value in. I'm a perfectionist. It's if it ain't right, man, I'm like, oh, I get all flippy and shitty and shit. But there's absolutely something to be said. Again, going back to some of the focus groups and whatnot I've been involved with. Joe Public digs that shit. Joe Public likes realizing that, wow, that guy fucks up just like I do. You know,
Yeah.
that's one of the. I've been super involved with Dalton at Pole Barn Garage, and that's one of his appeals. Um, it's the wrong tool for the job guy, and
Methods.
people can relate to that. He found he's like. I surely don't want to say he's copying Vice Grip Garage. I mean, I would have to say he's influenced by Vice Grip Garage, who, in my estimation, I think he's a little over the top. I mean, for Christ's sake, how many times does he say, spark
Interwebs.
or whatever? Yeah,
Sparkle, God,
way
he said
over,
some
way
stuff.
over the top. And I'm like, don't you realize we can figure out this? The guy who can beat the guy up, because look at his freaking stats, for Christ's sake. But when there's somebody out there that's doing that and they're real about it, like a guy like Dalton, man, it's gold. I mean, for Christ's sake, Dalton was going to do his 10,000 subscriber video, and before he knew it, he was at 15, and he was going to do a 15, and before you knew it, it was 18, and for Christ's sake, he's at 19 plus right now. And if you haven't seen it, go out, check it out. He's doing a giveaway for his 10, 15, 20,000 giveaway. He's giving away some parts out of the Holy Goat OG 400 engine, which would be pretty cool. There's another opportunity for any of you guys out there. I'm looking for the next channel to sponsor. Jeff, you're a contender there, brother. But man, I've done relatively well. I'm in a situation where, man, I'm gonna go John Wilburn on a lot of you guys. Man, I got some house things to take care of. But hey, the grim reality of it is, I am not where I wanted to be right now. I thought in 2020, 2021 early I'd be reopening a shop, and I was going to be doing chassis swaps for the world. I don't know how many guys have checked out some of my chassis swap stuff, but I'm a chassis swap fucking guru.
Yeah, you are.
I'm telling you, man, we were building those. We were picking up old tins for under $1,000. We were picking up donors for under $1,000. What we were kind of focused on was the fourth gen B bodies, the Caprice Classic. Every once in a while, we found a trash enough Impala SS. Those things, it's a damn near a crime to cut up. But the Buick Roadmasters, 91, 94 in there and up to 96. They had the LT1 in them. But I mean, you could pick them up for nothing. I mean, we were building these cars start to finish for $3,500 cost, selling them for 25 grand.
Yep.
It was man, fuck, it was so easy. It was, and I was having a great time doing it. Although when it got to the reason I shut down my shop, because my brothers called me. I got a couple of, pardon me guys if you were watching, but I got a couple of dickhead brothers that are selfish motherfuckers. And that's all there is to it. My mom got sick, man. She had Alzheimer's, and not that I'm too much of a mama's boy, but my parents took real good care of me. They taught me right, I thought. And when I heard that, I said, fuck it, man, I'm shutting down and I'm going to go take care of mom for her last years. That happened in 2016. And it wasn't that hard of a decision, because at that point in time, I really wasn't doing all that much hands-on anymore. I was in the freaking office dicking around with calculators and papers and receipts and phone calls and that kind of crap, when I really wanted to be out there, visualize, and no, man, you need to move that cab forward 2 inches kind of thing. and we were just getting into unibody swaps as well. Man, you should, if you haven't seen the 51 Chevy we put on top of a 90, what the hell year was that? 2006 Pontiac GTO. Oh my God, what a car, what a truck. Anyway, yeah, I'm in. Oh my God, I miss it mode.
Yeah. So speaking of like all of this, right? And
Yeah.
you were doing that, and you figured out your own processes, your own methods, and we're all doing the same.
We were turning those things out in 10 days.
Yeah, yeah. So you figure stuff out, and everyone's got their own tools, their own methods. So let's say you make a video and you get comments on how you're doing it wrong. Here's how I do it. Do you just be nice and be like, "Oh, hey, thanks for the feedback," blah 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 blah? Or
Here's the problem in my case. At that point in time, I was too damn busy doing the builds themselves, and I wasn't filming that shit.
Yeah.
You'll see some end result videos on the YouTube channel, um, but there's not a whole hell on the website. There's quite a few photo journals of the builds
you're right.
that cover a lot of the biggest key problems. Everybody says, "Man, the B body's too wide for the advanced design Chevy trucks," for example. No, they're not. All you got to do is flip the the step, man. You cut the step out and you flip the driver's side step to the passenger side, and you flip the passenger side step to the driver's side and reverse them, and it fits magically. Whether it's a fleet side or step side, it just didn't matter. Man, we had that shit so figured out, it was crazy. I had a guy working for me too. His name was Brian. God, if you're out there, Brian, I miss you, brother. Man, we had so much fun building these things, and like you said, man, coming up with the process, and we were churning them, and having a great time doing it. And they were, love or hate the chassis swaps. A lot of people thought, man, you're cheating, man. Those things, they kick.
They
ass.
work.
Man, they kick ass. And the other thing to consider about those chassis swaps is the power to weight ratio factor that comes into them. You're pulling 1,500 pounds of body and interior and bullshit off those and throwing a set of tins on top that weigh half as much. We had people coming to us going, "Okay, yeah, we want to do one of those." Because what I do is we had examples sitting around the shop, and the way I did my selling was, "Get in, mofo. Let's go for a ride." And we go for a ride, and dudes all fingernails in the center console and shit. And they're like, "Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, I want one of these." I lost my train of thought, but shit, howdy, man, I miss that shit.
Jeff, I had two people come in on the very first video I posted about how I was like throwing the idea around of the 300 head.
Yeah.
And these guys left comments that were books. I mean, long.
I've had that.
About how it would not work. And
Yeah.
all I had to say of them was, "That's cool, man."
I like reading positive, constructive criticism, feedback. But like when you start reading like, "Oh no, I do it this way. Here's why you're doing it wrong." It's like, well, great. You know what? You've done that for years. I'm working with the guy who's been doing it for years.
Man, there's a million ways to skin.
There's a million. Yeah.
There's a
Do
million.
the comments
My next
add
video.
up on your view count for the algorithm and stuff too? If somebody leaves you a book comment, does the algorithm grab a hold of that?
Oh yes.
So
Comments.
they're doing you a favor.
Comments in general. Comment counts, and comment, for lack of a better term, depth counts.
Yeah, because I say I love the constructive shit. I love that because it's free advice.
And the other thing to consider is troll comments count as well. Love them or hate them, they do. It's still activity. My next, it's a little ways off. I finally found the body, but my next build video, I don't know. I really don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to be a chassis swap for $100. How to do it for $100?
That's fucking
You
awesome.
know, given you've got the older vehicle, given you've got a running driving donor, how to put the two together for $100, and also given you've got a basic set of hand tools and minimally a 110 welder. That is my vision on my next. Fuck, I haven't put a real video up on my site in fucking years. Some of my shit's 10, 12 years old.
See, I know what I'm doing this winter.
Life
And
happens. You know what I mean?
like after things get shitty again here, cold, I'm gonna do a couple engine builds, and one of them's an idea that Dallas pitched to me, and it's a great budget idea that mimics something from the past that's awesome. And another one I'm going to do is Mopar related, but it's kind of like something not everybody does. It's somewhat budget related, but makes a whole lot of power. And what I want to do is like show those two examples, dyno them, and just show you can do it in your garage. I have access to a machine shop, so it's kind of some stuff I want to do to fill content over the winter.
Where I lost my train of thought earlier, that's where I was going with. People were coming to us. Yeah, I want one of these. They took a ride, and I've got extra money, and I want to put a turbo on it. And I'm like, hang tough. Let us do the swap, and you drive it before we start putting all the extra stuff on it. Again, by virtue of the weight reduction with the old tins on a modern drivetrain and chassis with full harness, computer, the whole bit, and none of them ever spent the extra money. I call me an idiot for not taking their money, but they got in those things, they drove them, and they're like, holy shit, you were right. You shave 500 to 1,500 pounds off a vehicle. It's a wonderful thing.
It is.
Thing.
Not only about the drivability factor, you got the looks of something really old and cool, this, that, and the other, but the drivability factor is huge.
And the way we were doing them, in most cases, by and large, keeping the interior.
Yes.
I'm not a real big fan of these guys that are doing it where you cut the entire firewall out and you replace it with the firewall of the donor. I'm not quite feeling that. I can see it. Some of those swaps have come out, and we were putting AC in these things too, but what we were using the under dash units and that kind of thing, using the components that were on the donor car and adapting them and that kind of thing. But I wasn't seeing the beauty in the modern interior in some of these things. I wanted when you walked up to it, you pretty much saw it and said, damn, that's an old truck. This is true sleeper style inside and out.
Very airbag in a 1949 Chevy just doesn't belong.
See, I agree, Bear. I was like, I saw, this has been years ago when the new Challengers came out, and a guy kind of did the swap of, I don't remember what Mopar body it was. It doesn't matter, but let's just say 68 Charger on that swap. But it was all the interior, all the new stuff was still in there, and the body was on the out. It just wasn't right. To me, it was like, ooh, if this would have been all 68 Charger or whatever it was, it'd have been cool. But man, it just... oh, hey, cool Charger. Oh, hey, what the hell's inside of that car?
So tell me about Ken. Tell me about you're thinking you're going to be able to get that flathead sparked up again, huh?
If I can get it apart, and if the machine shop says by some miracle it's not cracked anywhere of importance, because they always crack on top on the deck. They say that the crack's so common it has a Ford part number, but if the mains and the bottom of the block, the pan rails and stuff aren't cracked anywhere, then I don't see why it wouldn't live again.
Right.
that you get that thing running again in any shape or form, that'll take your channel a ways, without a doubt.
We
Without a
trying.
doubt. Hey, let me ask you this too. Man, I fucking love cursing and shit. uh, have you found at all? I think I mentioned that in the review of your channel. I think I wrapped up with something along
You
the
did.
lines of some of the
Yep.
language you use in your
Yep.
video. Which again, me watching that, I don't give one rat's ass. I love it. It feels like real to me. It feels like if I was going over to a buddy's house and knocking back at a couple of, old frothing sloshes or something.
Hmm.
You know, have you given any thought to that? Have you seen any? Has anyone
You know,
commented along those lines?
no one's commented anything. I honestly try to keep it toned down. Like it only comes out when like I slip up and I blur it out because that's what I'd say normally. Like,
I feel you, man.
but usually like I keep I tone her down. Like I'm an adult guy. I cuss, but I don't try to do it on purpose. My brother, for some odd reason, he sees the fucking camera on, and that's his go-to to just start blurting shit out. It's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah. I
My
try
wife
not
commented
to.
on mine.
Like, okay,
I
no,
finally swore on one of my videos.
the electrolysis video, or no, the first flathead video where I was starting to tear it down. I had to cut out like so much because like I was like, guys, you gotta tone the language down. Like they're like, oh, sorry, we keep on forgetting to record. I'm like, yeah, I know, but still, like I gotta cut all this out. I have nothing usable for the last 15 minutes because you guys used every swear in the goddamn book. It's like none of this is usable. Like I'm just gonna have to cut the audio out completely. It's like you gotta tone her down.
That's one of the reasons I have a lot of time lapse.
Yeah.
Because
Curse
no, but yeah, but
cards.
there is two worlds to that, and I think we were talking about this the other night. Do you want a video? Because it is going to be you and your buddies working in a garage, telling a joke, saying "go fuck yourself," or swearing because you whacked your finger with a wrench, or do you want it so clean and sanitized where you think you're, at school?
That's Vice
Yeah.
Grip, dude. He is super.
It's
Like,
a balance, man.
I'm a huge fan of the guy. Like I love his stuff, and like I see the difference between when he like does one of them long form videos where like he was doing the stock car replica, and you seen him like he was completely off. He was off. That's the best way to say it. He was off. And then you watch like one of his normal Will It Run videos, and he's jacked up to 100. But that's what that is. That's just like sanitation, and it's. I mean, it's good for the broad appeal, right? You're gonna hit more people with that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
especially because he's more of an entertainment channel than anything else. Like, it's definitely not a how to get stuff running. I mean, he throws in little, but it's
Minor.
entertainment. It's
It
entertainment.
is entertainment.
Yeah.
And he does it well, and his numbers display that.
Speak for
People-
themselves. Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's no getting down on anything he's doing. All right,
Nope.
that brings us, of course, then to Whistling Diesel.
I am actually a fan of him. Here's why. He will pick, and you might not even agree with him, but he will pick something that he absolutely despises. Will explain why, and then he freaking destroys it and makes money off of it.
I'm looking for my jar of Carolina squat trucks.
That's the trucks. That's the whole thing I'm talking about. Like a friend of mine said something. I can't believe you watch that guy. I'm like, I don't watch him all the time, but if a guy can go buy a new Challenger, absolutely tear it up, it's a waste of money. I'm like, he's gonna make 4 times, 5 times the amount of that car off that video. I mean, you can disagree with his methods, but yeah, look, and the way he does it.
Truck mulch. He is a marketing guru. You
Yes.
love him or hate him. he pushes all the buttons. There's just no doubt in it. Unbelievable his numbers.
Getting the new Air Jordans that are like 10 grand. Like, oh, I got new shot boots. And it's like, that is so classic because every kid nowadays that wants those, they clean their shoes like it's a religion. And you're
Yeah.
going, this is
They're 15
awesome.
grand. They're 15 grand. It's-
Yeah, whatever, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, to me that's comedy. That is, I have fuck you money and I'm going to push every button. And you're going to get mad, but every time you watch us and get mad, you're putting money in my pocket to do it again.
pretty,
You know?
pretty much.
When I realized he was a genius when the whole Hawaii debacle happened,
Oh, yeah.
where he was wanting to drive his truck into lava to see what happened, and everybody in Hawaii was all pissed off because sacred volcanoes, yada yada, can't do that, and he's just like, he didn't give a fuck, and I was like, this man is
No
brilliant.
fucks given.
He's getting good PR because he's gonna drive a truck into lava, which is great. And he's getting bad PR, which is also good PR because he's like, I don't fucking care if they're mad about me doing
So,
it. It's like, this is great. This man's a genius.
There's nobody in the middle of the road watching the guy. It's either you love the I don't give a shit, or they're watching because they hate him. Now, I do feel bad for these guys that get super high profile and people screw with them, like Vice Crip had shit stolen.
Yeah.
So has Whistle and Diesel. And Whistle and Diesel did a video, and I haven't watched him in a while, but like he did a video talking about like how odd it was people bothering him, showing up, and it was like creepy to him. And he's like, I moved out here for a reason, you know. So I mean, they're real people. Fame hit them. It's not like they prepared for it in some ways, but they just know how to. They have that market.
No doubt. Bear Rose, well, you want to drive the big monster truck into the lava, yeah?
Oh, heavens no.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Think of the view.
I had to put too many tires on that dang thing. No, I don't want to do it again.
Man,
Did you ever try floating it like they used to do in the
No.
water driving?
is any of that stuff still around, or is that all days gone by?
Yeah, it's all long gone.
Yeah.
We
I
sold it.
mean, you know,
7 years ago.
building a monster truck for the channel would probably get you some views.
No doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt.
It would.
I've got a set of axles.
Oh,
It's all you need. Are they 5 ton?
Bear Rose would like to make an announcement here,
Nope.
people.
Nope.
Get
nope.
your ears on.
Yeah, come and get them.
What have you got axle wise?
2.5 ton Rockwells,
Ooh.
2.5 ton transfer case,
Ready to go.
one set of tires, 2 tires, I guess. 66s.
Man, people would love watching you build a monster truck. I'm just saying.
No, I'm done with that.
Man, that was
Okay.
that live with your dad was good stuff.
See,
Thanks.
here's the thing about, okay, I get that, you know, you don't want to do it. That's your opinion, right? But like, I kind of feel like that's the same thing with Uncle Tony. Like, his audience wants to see him drive the cars that they watch him build, and he is feverishly against doing the thing that his audience wants him to do. And it's like, that can't be good for his channel. Like, I don't know. It just seems back-ass word to me.
I've
Or
thought
does
the
it
same.
keep you
I've thought
hooked?
the same thing.
Really? See,
Well-
so, okay. I feel good. I'm happy I'm not like completely out of whack here. Like,
I think he opened the bag on himself not realizing it because he's doing all these videos on the budget, doing this. Then he starts talking about his past, showing pictures. I earned my keeps. And then all that stuff goes on. And people are like, holy shit, you had a Nitro Ultra. Holy shit, you did this street racing. Holy shit, you did this. We want to see that. Let's do it. And it's like, no.
yeah, it's like, well,
But there's probably a much deeper reason. I mean, you talk to people that, you know, raced for a very long time, like, you know, my machine shop guy, he will never get back into a car. He wants me to. But like, I
Yeah.
see why their point is, but man, maybe, I don't know.
but his best videos are of him building race cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he's a guy that drove race cars. Naturally, people are going to want to see the guy that they like to watch drive the car.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I can't think of a single Uncle Tony video where he's driving.
I want
I
him
mean,
to do.
I can't.
recap.
I
there's
can't
some
think of
older
one.
videos, and that's
There's
another
some
thing.
older.
Is like, yeah, and he barely ever does videos where he's actually working on something. He said many times that he doesn't like being recorded while he's working, which I can understand that too. But that's kind of like odd, like if considering what he does, right?
So the two videos that hooked me on Tony, because I was out of cars for a long time, and it was just clicking around on shit, was the one where he talked about earning his keeps. There's like two videos on that, And the other was like, hey, that's a cool motherfucker. And the other one is when he gets Bottle Rocket, he goes out for a cruise, he rolls his cigarette, goes to the car wash, and he's out beating on this car and jams up the transmission, does a cool ass burnout on some side street, and it's like, that right there is like $1,000 just screamer. I gotta watch this guy.
Yeah.
I remember that article he did on how to shift, how to shift a manual car. He needs to do a video on that
I'd watch.
because
Yeah.
that is such a. I'm giving it all away here, but that is such an untapped thing right now.
Here's a funny thing. I kind of feel where he's coming from to a certain point, man. When I had the Roadkill Custom Shop in Arizona, it was wildly successful. I mean, we'd have car shows at the shop, and it was hundreds of cars showed up, and it wasn't fun for me because I had to put up with all these groupie typey kind of things, and it's kind of what he's talking about, how he wants to handle himself at the No Name Nationals. He's kind of joking about, yeah, man, I'll stay at the next door neighbors kind of thing. I'll park my RV over there, and I kind of feel that to a point, but it does feel like he's leaving a shit ton on the table, or off the table, I guess I should say. Because I can't, some of his older stuff, and I'm talking years back, he'd do some driving, but I can't remember any in recent ones.
The last one I remember him driving was when he took Plan Z, when he ran it the last time, and that was when he was having carb issues. He was trying to get the carb jetted right, kept falling on its face. That's the last time I remember seeing him in a car driving, and that was just like the back of the car going down the track, like wasn't much to it.
When Morpar Al dropped off Kiwis, and he jumped in it, and he was, doing hits right there in the parking lot.
Yeah, but that's not really driving. That's just like
Yeah.
doing burnouts.
Test.
Yeah.
Test.
You know what's a really cool shifting racing video, Bear Rose? It was a promo video, and it's Ronnie Socks. It's 1967. The Plymouth Hemi GTX is out, and he has competitor cars they're all stock, right? And he gets people like, if you want to call them YouTube viewer type people from the 60s that read the magazines and wrote letter or whatever, and they're all racing these cars against each other, and he's shown the different times, and he talks about like all his times are better, and he explains the whole shifting thing to him. It's a really good video.
How to roll a clutch, how to
preload the shifter. Yeah. See, I remember reading those magazines.
To it.
I had so many old magazines that I would get from like my dad's friends and other people, garage sales, and I would just read those things. And I taught myself, how to drive. Like, it's like speed shifting, and it's like, man, you can really win a race if you know how to shift.
Barrows, could you do this video, please, so I can watch it? Because my Ranger is a stick shift, and like I've been driving, my first car was a stick shift. I've been driving stick shifts like my whole life, but as far as like racing one, I guess I don't know dick. So
that is
you can do it.
Oh, I'm sure
do
I
it.
can.
Just
don't miss a fucking shift.
If you look up, if you want to learn how to shift, there's videos out there. Obviously, Ronnie Socks, Herb McCandless, Grumpy Jenkins, from the 60s when everything was, 4-speed, and he did not run a Hurst. It was a completely different shifter. But who was the Ford guy? The crazy Hubert Platt in the Georgia Shaker. Like there was a whole group of guys, man, that were just ripping gears, and they showed how to do it. And you don't have to push that pedal all the way down either.
No, you don't. You touch it.
You touch it.
You
You just feel like a
touch it.
throw-out bearing style thing going on, just barely. And you're preloading that shifter, so it is just like instantaneous, and then real quick, and you're just jamming it.
And your foot never comes off the floor.
Nope.
Good times.
And then the clutch comes right through and takes your toes off.
Oh, don't say that. Yeah, don't.
Well, yeah.
Say that.
You'll be fine. Just wear metals like ANSI certified steel boots, and
I have that starter right there in the way. I'll hit that before it hits my feet.
it's fun stuff. Learn how to shift like that.
Yeah. That's some ideas.
I've honestly thought about like, okay, for Jeff, great idea for you is like start reviewing these old magazine articles. Like just grab one, go over it.
See, we talked about this in
Mhm.
some ways where they would take a stock car, test it, do all these little changes to it, and
Yeah,
Super Stock and Drag Illustrated was known for that car craft. It would be like, man, if you had the money, it's like I just bought a bare bones restored 68 Dart, GTS 344 speed, and go out there, run the times to see what they did. Like literally back and forth, do every trick they did, and see what it would be compared to like today. I think that would be absolutely killer.
No doubt. No doubt. Those articles were cool.
Yes, they were.
Super, super cool.
My dad, he used to go to the secondhand stores all the time to buy boxes of rags for the automotive shop. And every time we were in there, they always had Hot Rod, Carcraft, all the old magazines, just boxes of them. And he'd dump them out on the customer waiting table. And I'd be in there like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday trying to stay awake so I wouldn't be late for school. Just reading Tony DeFeo's articles, all those old articles like he was talking about.
Yeah.
That's where I learned a lot of that stuff.
He
I
put
didn't
out
even know
good
Uncle
stuff.
Tony was Tony DeFeo until just a couple of years ago. About a year ago. Never made that connection. I was holy cow, that's a guy I was reading.
Yeah. I mean, you start reading some of that stuff, and the way they did it was so simple. So, like, unlike today, where not everybody can afford to go out and buy a Hellcat or an SS Camaro or whatever, these cars were affordable for younger guys that had a job. But you didn't have all the money in the world to go buy everything. So it's like, hey, here's what you can do. Here's what you can do with this. Just little things. And if you got the money, add this. Here's the results. Got a little bit more money, add this. And they would tell you the whole package and the whole price. And then you're like, holy cow, now that is freaking awesome. But that's not really affordable. But now, like, I would love to do a budget build car, and just walk it through. And here's how much we spent. I know there's two groups racing and doing that, but it's like everyone's got a Camaro, a Chevelle, a Challenger, a Charger. We were looking at a 75 Laguna S3. It's like a bastard muscle car that probably should have never been, right? But we just couldn't get the deal done. But it's like, hey, this is still muscle after the muscle area, kind of going into the malaise era. You can still make it cool. And by the way, like we're going to make it cool on a budget with a whole bunch of horsepower, not having to source stuff that you can't find, and you just walk it through the whole thing. And we're still looking for a car like that to do.
I think it was you, Jeff. I think you told me that Tony did a whole bunch of articles on the Fox bodies.
Yes, he was like the Fox body king.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to find them and go through them. I got that Fox body, so I think it'd be pretty cool to use the articles to improve that since I got it.
And I always throw that in a friend of mine's face who's a big Fox body guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, the guy that's like the kind of a Mopar guru, he's the one that figured the Fox body out for you.
He's
I think
got
it's
a
interesting how not familiar people are with all the Fox bodies. I mean,
Mhm.
it ain't just the Mustang. I
No.
mean, it's the Fairmont, the Zephyr.
Fairmont. Yep.
There was a Ford Durango of all things. What year was that? That was like 81 and 82. Um, the Marquis, the Cougar, the LTD,
The Capri, yeah.
Capri as well. All of them basically Fox body based. And some of those things, because they were so obscure, I mean, you can still pick them up pretty freaking reasonably.
Well, look at all the guys that you see on YouTube who's got the Fairmont's LS junkyard with the eBay Turbo just blitzing everything on the track, It's
Yeah.
like there's a hot rod on a budget. Those guys are out there kicking ass and taking names, and they're doing it kind of the old school way.
Jeff,
They're
you've seen 8 for 8, right? The Sloppy
Mhm.
Mechanic Mustang.
Yep,
That thing's insane.
it is.
8 seconds for 8 grand.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to look up the rest of the Fox bodies. Yeah, Fairmont, Zephyr, Durango, Granada. Granada, what a piece of shit that was. God, I hate
Yeah, my mom had one. That thing was a turd.
God, that was such the Ford plastic era. God, those things just crumbled if they caught any sunlight. Yeah, the Cougar Marquis, the Lincoln Continental, uh, the Thunderbirds, the Cougar XR7, and then the Continental and the Lincoln Mark 7.
There were some real shitbag years for cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of that stuff's coming back though, man. And there's a market for everything, but I just remember vaguely as a very young child just hating that Ford Granada my mom had.
Yeah.
It's like you call that a paint job, It's like it looks like primer with piss wiped on it.
My old man bought a 76 Granada and it was, that he thought silver and God, that thing looked like shit in like 3 months or something like that. God, it was horrible. What a piece of shit car that was.
Yeah, they were junk. Well, I remember
That
my
was
dad
not
told me.
long after they sold our family 1966 Volkswagen Beetle for $300 to my friend they called Earl the Pearl. I'm like, you're not keeping this for me, for Christ's sakes. I was, at the time I was mini bikes and go-karts, man. 66 bugs was the natural progression, for Christ's sake.
Hey,
My dad-
Al
Still
here.
pissed
Hi,
about
Al.
My dad got rid of a really hot 69 Dart Swinger. It was like his street racer car because his other daily was a Cuda. And, it was like 73, 74. The gas stuff was going crazy. He said and he had this just real hot car he would take out every once in a while and things were going south, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what'd you do with it? And he's like, well, this dealership, they were campaign cars. They bought it from me, and I turned around and I bought a Duster. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, like 344 speed. And he's like, nah, slant 6, 3-speed on the floor. And he told me like all the problems he had with it. And he shows me this picture, and it's like I said, it's 73, 74. I don't know what year. And it's got like steel wheels on the back, but it's got slots on the front. And I said, Dad, like, what happened to the slots on the back? And he goes, well, the ones I bought, they actually didn't fit, and they couldn't find them, and the hubcaps fell off. I'm like, and he told me like one day, he's like, oh, I went out in the garage and thought I had a flat tire, and the leaf spring perch broke, and he's like, your mom was driving one day to work, and like the shifter came off, and it was on the floor, and it was like stuck in second gear. And I'm like, you got rid of a 69 Dart Swinger that was hot as hell, and you bought that piece of crap.
Parents are funny things, aren't they?
Well, I guess it was the time, I wasn't even alive, so I wouldn't even understand it. But like, it's like, when you daily drive a 70 Cuda, big block 4-speed car, it's like, ooh, hey.
So Jeff, what are you hoping to do with your channel? I mean, clearly you're putting out some pretty decent stuff.
I want to really grow it. Like, I have ideas in my head. Some are good or some are bad, right? But the good ones are like, there's like all these niches in YouTube. I do not want to touch them all, right? Like, I'm going to build this car for No Name Nationals, and that's like my focus now. But like, we are actively thinking like on a budget build, on engine build stuff, I have some other ideas. Like it's just some of it's money. Like I just don't have it all right now. Like I am going to do a front engine dragster with my machinist, right? And he's really hard to film with, like very hard to film with. Like there's so much content I really wanted to add with the cylinder head engine stuff. It's just not the right mixture of certain things. You know what I'm saying? And
can you groom the guy?
um
Because he seems to know. I mean, I feel you watching some of your videos.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel what you're saying about the guy, but he also seems to know his shit.
he does know his shit. He ran, front engine dragsters for from 1968. He had funny cars, national record holders on shit,
Wow.
engine builder for all these people. And I think so. And here's why. Because I opened up a chapter in his book that he closed. I was digging through his shit. Like his shop's a mess right now. And I understand why. Like he had a bunch of stuff going on. But I found like all these trophies, all these pictures, all these record holder things, I mean, you could fill walls with this shit.
Wow.
And he starts talking, right? And then like today he calls me up and asking if some parts came in. I'm like, nope, and he's like, you're never gonna believe it. I started cleaning shit up, and he goes, that wall with all that garbage you'd get pissed off about? I'm like, yeah, because you couldn't find anything over there. And he's like, it's full of plaques, trophies, awards. So that right there was like, his wheels are spinning. And he said something. He's like, I should have wrote a book one day. And he's like, I'm like right there. I'm like, Jimmy, like if you would just not be the shy or like shut down on camera type thing. And I totally get why, but it's like, you could tell those stories. You could put a video out once a week.
All right, Jeff.
And the stories are crazy. Like what he talks about.
Wear a head cam and then just record everything. That way
That's
you're
what
not
I-
like
that's- I was
camera
gonna
in
think,
space.
yeah.
Like when I'm doing time lapse, you'll see stopping and he's doing this. He ain't telling me what to do. He's telling me some story.
Oh yeah, old timers are always like that, dude. It's great.
Like, I mean, he raced with all those guys, different class because he didn't have the money, but like all those people, like he knew, and like the stories that you don't hear about, or like, certain things, and you're like, holy shit. Like, dude, you could have your own YouTube channel. And he's got like this shelves, and you start digging through them, and it is like, oh yeah, that's a complete setup, like just complete setups of, Crowler, Hillborn, everything. And it's new old stock. Vinwala pistons for this, that, and the other, digging through some shit. And I came across like a whole box of like unused Isky cams, that were custom ground in like 1974. Crane Fireball heads. Remember those things that were, dude, there's just stacks of them laying around.
Wow. Yeah, I need to put his stories to work and some of those parts to work, for Christ's
I know. Oh, I know. Like, I'm going to do the front engine dragster with him. And I was talking myself out of it. And the next thing you know, he's just like, nope, I already talked to this, talked to that. I'm like, man, wait, things are so expensive. He's like, we'll take like a year of building it. He's like, I'll supply.
Front engine dragster. I mean, you talking about tubing it, the whole thing from tube up, or what? Or
So
are you
yeah,
talking
we're gonna
about buying a chassis.
We're gonna buy a chassis, but we're gonna buy it just pre-bent, and he's gonna weld everything up, and he'll make the hoops to my body size and all that. And he has changed so much over the years because he's about my same size. But he's got all the engines, and he says you pay for the chassis and the tires and the tin and the steering. He's like, I have everything else.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, and
That's
it's
an
starting off.
opportunity.
It is, and I even said, Jimmy, like, I don't let out of things, man. And he's like, you blow it up, that's my fault because I'm your engine builder and I'm tuning it. I said, okay. And then he's like, look at all these parts, man. And so that's like one thing, and I know that's gonna branch away from my group of people, right, working with stuff, because they don't want to have any part of it. They don't, because the level of commitment with that, it far exceeds right now maybe of what they can do. Now, I think what can happen is once they see that thing and hear it, it's going to click and change their minds on some stuff. But yeah, that's definitely going to be cool, having to do a front engine dragster. And that's where I want to tie the story in of this guy. It's just not like me going from building a Thunderbird and learning shit to all of a sudden I'm drag racing a front engine dragster. It's like, that's a harebrained idea. That's how you get killed. But if you have somebody in your corner and they teach you how to do it, I mean, he's already explained so much. Like, I've always said, if you go, this guy likes to talk. If you go to Jimmy's to drop a part off, you're not there for 15 minutes. You're there the rest of the day. And it's him telling these stories. He works by himself. He has no one to talk to, you know.
Yeah.
And he's
knows the
got some
type.
just crazy stories. And it's like, yeah, and it's actually a chassis is very reasonably priced.
Wow. Kim, what's keeping you busiest these days?
Me?
No, Barrows.
Oh, that Fairlane.
Where you at on it at this point?
Just getting ready to finish tearing that 460 down and regasket it up, get it set back in there, and then
Is that all it
wire
needs,
it.
or is it got to go off to the machine shop?
Oh no, we're not saying that. No, nope. Nah, it should be just fine.
Just a little leaky, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a mystery, and 3,200 miles is too much to risk it.
It's a lot of miles.
Yeah. So I'm taking all the precautions I can for it.
So you're driving it as opposed to trailering it, clearly.
Oh, it's pulling the Ranchero that I'm giving away.
I'm driving mine too, Barrow. So.
Well
then. That's the plan. It's going to happen, yeah.
What's the status on the Ranchero at this point? I mean, is it ready to go, or is that something you've also got on your docket before you get there?
Oh no, it's a YouTube starter kit for somebody at the No Name Nationals.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's like the coolest idea.
How come I'm not aware of this yet?
Oh really? It's my first video on the No Name Nationals. In fact,
Wow.
that was the first video. And it was that one announcing that I'm going to give that thing away.
That's awesome, man. That is
freaking killer.
Now it's a giveaway car.
Yeah, but how many of those Rancheros do you still see around like that, you know?
Hey man, the last Ranchero I seen came
Only
out of my
one.
dad's back shop and it ripped in half while they were loading it onto the trailer. So if it's better
That's what I'm
than that
saying.
one, if it's better than that one, then it's something. I'll tell you that.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Only
like
one.
you don't see those cars around, so it's not like you're giving away, you know, a 78 Camaro. You're giving away
Hey,
something very unique.
My old man must have knew because he got paid before they pulled it out. Let me tell you that.
All it needs is everything.
Yep.
It needs a nose cone and a hood. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and nobody could come up with one. So I said, let's just do it this way. Let's just give it away.
How's the
2
glass?
days after I made the announcement, 4 of them showed up. But now I'm
That's how it
committed,
works, man.
so
That's how it works. That is how it works. Forgive me. Where are you in the country again?
Idaho,
Idaho.
right by Yellowstone.
Oh,
Oh, no
sweet.
kidding, huh? Beautiful part of the country for sure.
That's why I'm surrounded by all these junk motorhomes. They just break down on the way and people run.
That's great.
That's freaking awesome, man.
Speaking of motorhomes, you guys check out the Weston Champlin putting the motorhome 440 in the 68 Charger? Did you guys catch that video?
I don't think so.
Look it up. It's entertaining. He tore the motor out with a skip loader. Freaking fantastic. You talk about 15 minutes of really good watch. It's a really
I did
good
it with a backhoe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good
Can't beat
time.
a good forklift.
No doubt.
In January, in the snow, in the cold.
So am I caught up on the electrolysis on the flathead? I mean, you've pulled it out and it's been cleaned up. It turned black, but where's it at this point?
Let's see. Well, it kicked my ass. I recorded it, but I haven't posted anything about it. So I missed the head stud that was stuck in it, and all the other ones came out. So I was like, oh, this can't be that bad. I'll easy out it. And the easy out, well, it became not so easy.
And it didn't come out.
Didn't come out. So then I had a broken easy out in it, and I haven't fucked the hole up yet, but I'm looking into ways
Ugh.
to get her out without having the machine shop do it. So
Yeah.
What's protruding? Anything?
well, it was almost flush, and I drilled the most perfectly centered hole I've ever drilled in my entire life. I was very proud of it. I was like, holy shit, this easy out is gonna have a chance. And And after she was all said and done, I should have just drilled the fucker straight out, and I didn't do it, and kicking myself in the ass now. But
You got enough to weld to?
I do. I before I even tried to easy out, I must have welded, I don't know, 10, 12 nuts to that motherfucker, and it would just not come out. And I was like, you know what? The heat has had to loosen it up some because I was putting heat to it. Let me tell you. And I'm like, this easy out. She's gonna spin right out, and it just, man. So my go-to plan is I'm gonna buy one of them. It's like a 1/4 inch diamond tipped hole saw, real small little fucker, and it should be able to eat through that easy out. And we'll see.
So the easy out is stuck in there now? Ah,
That
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
Well,
nightmare.
apparently these hole saws, these diamond tip ones, they'll burr right through it, no problem. Just gotta keep them wet.
good times.
Yeah, it sucks. Like I'll probably have to helicoil the hole by the time it's all said and done. Oh well. And
That
okay,
makes
so
it- makes
the,
it
the
suck.
next step in tearing it down though is after I beat this hole is I'm gonna cut all the valves, what's left of them, cutting all the valves up against the guide as far as I can, and then I'm gonna snap the heads of all the valves off because they're stuck, and I'm gonna drive the guides into the valley. That's the plan anyway. I probably put the torch on them for a good while and then just beat the piss out of them into the valley.
Hell yeah.
Getting the
Have you
cam
got any
out.
paraffin and wax?
Oh yeah, I've seen that trick before. I don't. Barrows, this block is bad, man. Like
Is it
Have
too
you
bad
have
for
you
that?
seen the
they
video?
they are every piece of metal in this thing is one with every other piece of metal. Like
It's gone back to the earth.
yeah, it is just a solid lump. Like it's gonna take some work to get the guides out. I don't know how I'm gonna get the cam out. I'm probably have to cut it into little pieces.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna have to drive the lifters out the same way I'm driving the guides out. Like
Yeah.
I don't see getting it out any other way. Wait till you
Because
see
they're
the
like
engine. Okay, so
Y
this is
block, aren't they? You got to lift the lifters up to get the cam
yeah,
to come
kinda,
out.
yeah.
Otherwise,
So
they'll lock
wait,
it.
I couldn't find an engine stand to put the engine on.
Oh.
Like they're all sold out. I've talked about this before. He knows. So I got a semi engine stand to put the flathead on. It's comically too big, and it's gonna be really funny. So
Dude, that engine stand, that thing is, yeah.
yeah, it's huge. It's
I'm not
enormous.
even going to say
Like
anything. It's enormous.
it's gonna be great. Like that's gonna be my thumbnail. Is just this little engine on this enormous stand. It's gonna be great.
I'm looking forward to that. I will. Actually, I got a. Oh, I did. Tall. Email. Thumbnail. Yeah, I got a great screen cap of that motor coming apart with the root ball.
That's so cool.
It's unbelievable.
I don't know where I saw it recently, but it was a guy getting a car out, and he was cutting the tree out of the car. You know, it had grown up in there and all found its way, and like the car looked ratty, but I mean, obviously this guy had a passion for it. He was like all day long cutting a tree out of a car. And
I've got a couple of
wow.
good photos of cars getting cut out with the trees still attached and them getting towed out of the forest. Where they're cutting it out below the bumper. It's growing up, between the bumper and the front end. They just cut the top off, cut the bottom off, and tow it out with the tree stumped in the bumper. Some great pictures.
That's pretty wild.
Around here, they used to use them for fill. So when they were building all the canals and stuff, when the water's gone, you can go in there and see cars stuck in the canal banks because they used them for filler.
One of the junkyard guys I work with pretty often, putting people in touch with project cars and parts. A guy named Chad at Nobody Else's Auto. He's got a couple of videos where they took a wheeler back, in a river wash kind of thing, checking out what was there, placed back in the day for erosion control. And some of the stuff is just some freaking awesome automobiles. I mean, there ain't diddly shit you can do with them at this point, but pretty fascinating stuff if you're looking to burn some time.
Well, there's a Arnie Beswick's 63 Tameless Tiger, the original car, right? Not the Pro Mod, but that thing got beat up, mashed up, and he had finally wrecked it and this, that, and the other, and he buried the car at his farm, right? And it got unburied. I can't remember what year, and somebody had restored it, said it was that, but there was a whole conversation, more like a pissing match, if it was the real deal or not, because it had been buried for decades, and it had been wrecked like really, really bad multiple times, and it finally got done in, and he buried it, and like people were really wondering, did he find a donor car and just put some of the pieces in, or what did he do? Because I saw the car, like the supposedly the real one done, and it's like there ain't no way, there's no way that's the same car.
Man, how long we oh boy. Hell, we're pushing 2.5 hours here, gentlemen.
Ooh,
Good
Yeah, I need
time.
to go to
wow,
bed.
time flies.
I am gonna hop off because I do have to get up super early tomorrow, though.
Yeah, my day comes relatively early as well. Jeff, man, good chatting with you. Thanks for
You too,
coming on.
guys. Yep.
Be good.
And I'll
Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.
Later, gentlemen.
Later.
See you, Jeff.
Yeah, time does fly,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, it
Sure
does.
does.
Oh,
Todd, I
that's
can't
probably
wait to
better.
see that little motor on that big stand.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty great, I think.
Looking forward to it. Bear Rose, you
Well,
take care of yourself there, brother.
yeah, you too. Hey, and thanks a million for all that advice,
Yes,
man. I got it
thank
all
you
written
for the
down here.
advice. Yep.
Hey, for real, man, it's what I do. Man, if you guys want to reach out, I'm sure I've emailed both of you. Hit me back, roadkillcustomers@gmail.com. If you got a question, specific question, long question. I've got a shit ton of emails of people coming in, from the No Name 500. I'm getting through them. But don't be bashful. If I can help you out in any way, if you're just looking for ideas, if you're looking for a sounding board, just want to bounce some ideas around. Like I say, don't be bashful. Reach out. I'll help you in any way I can. I mean that.
Well, thank
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Right on, guys. All right, man. I'm clicking the big red button here in just a moment.
you. Later, everybody.
And we'll see you again soon. See you guys.
I'll see y'all. Great seeing you.